Wentz Financial Group presents Zips Basketball Weekly with John Groce, investment management for your lifetime. Hosted by Joe Dunn. Contributing sponsors include Summa Health. It's your health. Let's own it together. Hilton Akron Fairlawn, the preferred hotel of Zips Athletics. And the Spaghetti Warehouse, famous for its 15-layer lasagna.
Hello again, everyone. Welcome to the weekly edition of Zips Basketball Weekly with head coach John Groce, brought to you as always by the Wentz Financial Group. Well, the news is great right now. The Zips are 11-3 overall, 1-0 in the Mid-American Conference after a big win Saturday afternoon to open up Mid-American Conference play up at Ypsilanti, Michigan, 69-45 over Eastern Michigan. You put that together with a nice win over Atlantic 10 UMass. Right now, the Zips are playing some great basketball. A quick reminder, Akron home this week for two more big games. Tuesday night, 7 o'clock tip-off against Western Michigan. Then Friday night, Ball State comes to town. Remember, that Friday night game will tip off at 9 o'clock. Well, Coach, congratulations on some great basketball. Anytime you win on the road, it's good. Anytime you win on the road in the MAC, it's really special.
There's no question. Obviously, being able to start out 1-0 and to do that against a really good Eastern Michigan team that was ranked number one in the league defensively going into the game was terrific for our guys to get off to that type of start. I thought we've really played well after Christmas, and we've got to continue to get better in some areas and fine-tune some areas, especially rebounding. I thought we got hit really hard on the glass yesterday against Eastern, and we've got to be much, much, much better there. But, Joe, I didn't think we were playing particularly well before Christmas. And so when we came back, obviously we changed the rotation. We added Michael Dawson to the rotation. We really honed in on some things over the break with our practices leading into the UMass game. And then I thought we played about as good as we've played all year. Certainly not a finished product, but over the course of the past week with the UMass home game and the Eastern Michigan road game.
You've told the players conference play is a different animal. I mean, it's a whole different type of intensity. I thought you had your team ready for Mid-American Conference play.
Well, the older guys had our team ready. You know, Jackson in particular, our quarterback, our leader. I thought he did a good job of having our guys ready to play. The veterans really helped the newcomers. I thought our newcomers were on edge for the opener, and we played some good basketball. But you've got to do that every game. I use the analogy with them. It's like an 18-round boxing match, and round one's over. I wanted them to enjoy it yesterday after the win, and now we've got to get back to work and get ready to play Western Michigan on Tuesday night.
Exactly. We're going to take a look at highlights of Eastern Michigan and UMass a little bit later in the program. Right now, we're going to go back to Washington, D.C., the Capital City Classic. And, Coach, before the season, we're not sure how good this tournament's going to be, but, boy, there were three outstanding teams along with your team in there.
Great event. Great for us. Played Tulane, who just had a heck of a win beating Cincinnati here over the weekend. Really talented crew. Was really impressed with their matchup zone, which is difficult to go against. And I thought our guys really fought their way through it. And we didn't play particularly well. We didn't shoot it well from the free throw line, did not rebound it very well, but just made enough plays there throughout the course of the game and had some guys really step up and show some courage at the end of the game, making some big plays to, eke out the win there, and then have an opportunity to play Liberty, who's undefeated at that time and currently has one loss. I think they're 15 or 16-1 right now, Joe, and certainly one of the better teams in the country, and have an opportunity to play them. Didn't play particularly well in that one either, but I thought our guys stayed with it and gave us a chance to learn a lot as we took a kind of a deep breath after Christmas and said, okay, played two really good teams in D.C., didn't play particularly well, split the two games. What do we need to really address when we get back to get better heading into the new year? So from that standpoint, that's what the DC trip allowed us to do, and really why it was the most beneficial.
Zips are up 31-27 at halftime. Then the Green Wave. They're a good basketball team. They came fighting back in the second half, which set up the last possession of the game. Coach, I thought that was special. They have to go the length of the court We're up 62-61. You come out with a different defense. You come out in that 1-3-1 zone, and it took a while for them to recognize what you were doing.
Yeah, the guys executed it well. End of game. React makes a big play there, walling up the kid. And then Cheese came up with scrappy plays there on the 2 possessions where it was a blob D possession. He did a great job, tied a guy up, and then comes up with the deflection there, and we're able to get the win.
Always nice in a tournament like that to win that game and get yourself in the title game.
No question. And obviously to have a chance to play Liberty at that time undefeated. Richie does such a great job. They're so fundamentally sound. A team that is projected to win close to 30 games. Went to last year's NCAA tournament, won in the tournament, advanced to the round of 32. Extremely talented, together, old team. We knew they were going to challenge us, and it made us better. You know, it really did. It gave us a chance to grow. And, you know, when you play competition at that level, it gives you a chance to really eyeball some things as a coach and figure out what we need to address. So, you know, we were certainly thankful for that opportunity.
Coach, I don't know how you feel. We played Louisville, we played West Virginia. On that particular day, I thought Liberty was the best team we played. Now, I don't know.
Yeah, certainly in terms of defending them, we had no answers for them, and our defense really took a hit that day. We, you know, had to address some things when we got back, make a couple changes to make our defense better, and our guys really bought into that. But again, if you don't play those type of people and that type of tournament field that we did there in D.C., you don't get to learn what you need to address. So from a growth standpoint, a long-term perspective, great event for us. Really glad we had the chance to go to D.C. and play both Tulane and Liberty.
We were up 32-25, 7-point lead in that first half. A couple baskets really would have made it interesting, but boy, as good as Liberty is, they came back in that second half, really played well.
Yeah, they went on a heck of a run there that spanned the end of the first half and the beginning of the second half, where, you know, they scored 10 or 11 straight trips down the floor, which hasn't happened a lot on our defense, as you know, the last 2 years in particular. But, you know, they were really, really talented, really together. I thought they were in sync. And, you know, I knew that going into the game we were going to be challenged on that end of the floor after watching them on film.
Coach McKay, you told me after the game, Coach, you talked to him. He said that to that point was the best game they'd played.
They played great. I mean, they did. And they played great offensively. They played great defensively. As you said, you know, Joe, we were up 28-21 and 32-25 and, you know, had some leads there roughly halfway through the game. And, you know, they just stay with it. I think the thing that stood out to me, ironically, is one of the strengths of our team as well, and that was Liberty's poise. I think our poise has been really good. Our togetherness has been really good and allowed us to play some pretty good basketball. And you certainly saw that trait in Liberty's team as well.
As we said, the Zips riding a 2-game winning streak. Big win over UMass. Bigger win over Eastern Michigan to be in conference play on Saturday. We're going to take a break, come back and look at highlights of those 2 big wins right after this.
The difference with Wentz Financial Group is that we did not have a cookie-cutter answer to any of our clients' needs. Every day is completely different in the market, and every client situation is unique. We value the opportunity and responsibility to manage the hopes and dreams of our 3,000 customers nationwide.
Come see the difference Wentz Financial Group can make for your financial future. Wentz Financial Group. Investment management for your lifetime.
The University of Akron is more than a college or campus.
It's a connection to the community.
To the thousands of opportunities right here in Northeast Ohio.
And to the partnerships with employers and organizations.
Like the LeBron James Family Foundation, where we connect kids to life-changing possibilities.
It's the strength of UA, this city, and these connections.
It's where students make an impact on their community and in the world.
While still making an impact
In the classroom.
On the track.
In the boardroom.
and in my community.
That's what makes us the University of Akron.
Okay, welcome back to Zips Basketball Weekly with head coach John Groce. A quick reminder, the Zips back home Tuesday night, Mid-American Conference action against the Broncos of Western Michigan. Then 9 o'clock on Friday night, Ball State, the Cardinals come to town. Remember, that's a 9 o'clock tip-off on Friday. UMass, Coach, played some great basketball. Before we take a look at highlights, though, I know you want to comment on the atmosphere, the crowd, the enthusiasm for that game.
It was unbelievable. Best crowd we've had for a non-conference game, certainly in the time I've been here. Right. It made a huge difference. It was really noticeable. And we have a smart crowd. They knew when to get into the game. And when it got late, I thought they made a real difference. You know, I said after the game they should take as much pride in that win as our players do. And now they've set the bar. You know, now we need them back out on Tuesday night when we play Western at 7. And then we've got a national television opportunity on Friday night against Ball State at 9 o'clock. And, our teams, played some good basketball. So hopefully that's encouraging them, our fans, to keep coming out and supporting this team. We've got a special group of guys, and, can't thank the fans enough for what they provided that night when we played UMass.
Congratulations to everybody that came out for that UMass game. A lot more basketball yet to be played at home. Right now, let's go back and pick up highlights from that UMass game. And boy, Atlantic 10 coming into town, Coach. I know we go out there again next season, but that's a big scheduling coup. Yeah, no, it was great. Larry Williams helped us with that, and appreciate him helping us put our schedule together like he does. Obviously our goal is to make sure we're ready for Mid-American Conference play and that we're challenged home, away, neutral, different styles. And so I really appreciate Larry's support with all that. But, that night, obviously, it was an interesting game here watching the highlights. As you know, Joe, it's like we're up 17, making every shot, really defending. I look up at the clock, and there's still 8 minutes to go in the first half. So 28 more minutes to go, and then UMass responds, as good teams do, and, basically outscores 21 points to earn a 52-48 lead. And so it really tested our guys' poise. And I thought our guys did a great job, man, especially our veterans. They just stayed with it. They kept swinging, made big plays late. I thought Banks was terrific in the last 8 minutes of the game and really helped will us with his play, both offensively and defensively. His energy, his voice in our huddles, was just terrific, what you'd expect of a senior. Lauren Christian Jackson leads the Zips with 26. Channel Banks with 21. Coach, I think all 21 of those were in the second half. Yeah, no, he was terrific, and a lot of them were late in the game when we really needed him and needed him to step up. You see the big shot there he makes to make it a two-possession game in our favor. But, he showed a lot of courage, man. I really thought that his confidence, his courage, and his energy really wore off in a good way on our team. You made a great comment after the game, Coach. You felt last year's team would not have won that game. This team is much different with poise, and they were able to win that basketball game. Yeah, we're a little bit older, more experienced. Obviously, you give up a 21-point run, you get hit in the mouth, and you really find out what you have. And obviously, our guys showed great poise, and we're able to finish it out. Exactly. Big win over UMass. Right now, we're taking a look at the Saturday win over Eastern Michigan up at Ypsilanti. That was the Mid-American Conference opener. That 2-3 zone, Coach, they recruit some big guys up there. It almost shortens the court, makes the court smaller with those big guys. It sure does. I mean, the big fella, obviously 7 foot, 250 pounds, 17 rebounds yesterday, Torre. Yeah. And just does a great job of protecting the rim in the zone. But I thought our ball movement, our inside-out attack offensively was really good. Thought we executed really well. And then defensively, we were back on edge really for the first time prior to D.C. Obviously it got our guys' attention. We've been first in the league on defense for a long time, dating back to last year, and then coming out of D.C., we moved to third. And so we talked about that certainly as a pride point, and Eastern Michigan was number 1 in our league going into the game. Right. And so we wanted to really sit down and guard, and as always with us, it always starts with our defense. We always tell our guys that defense travels. Lauren Christian Jackson with 15 points in the first half, and Coach, there's threes. Then there's deep threes, and he hit a lot of deep threes against that zone. No, he has that capability, obviously, off both bounce and catch. And you see just a ton of guys in these clips making plays for us. Really almost every guy that played, I thought, really added value to what we were doing. Nice win to open up conference play. On the road, Coach, always nice to get that first road win because they are hard to get in any league. No, they are for sure. We want to make sure we can control what we can control and play as well as we can, no matter where the game is at. I think our team mentally right now, and we already talked about it from a poise perspective, has really approached each game as if we're just trying to get 1-0 tonight. Exactly. And certainly Christian Jackson as our leader, I think in the locker room helps us embody that. And the guys have really bought into it. And, now we've got to go 1-0 every day leading up to the Western Michigan tip on Tuesday night and make sure that we're ready to play for round 2. The good news is the Zips are 1-0 right now in the Mid-American Conference. We're going to take a break, come back, and announce our Player of the Week and our Player on the Rise right after this.
Roman was born with a hole in his heart. But thanks to the experts at Summa who found the problem and fixed it quickly, he's feeling 26 again. Not 76. Minimally invasive heart procedures, many performed in under 2 hours. Summa Health, vital for getting back in the game and more.
Right now, it's time to name our player of the week and our player on the rise. And Coach, the little guy from Chicago and Victory Rock down in Florida, what a couple weeks he has had. He's our player of the week, 5'9" point guard Lauren Christian Jackson. 17 points in the win over Eastern Michigan, 26 points against UMass. For those 2 games, Coach, he was 8 for 15 in 3-point shots. He's doing it all.
Yeah, no, obviously his production was terrific. His efficiency was terrific, but what he means much more than that to our team. I think he obviously he's developed into a leader in our locker room. He's our quarterback out there. I trust him a great deal. And, the best compliment I can give him is when the ball's in his hands, I feel pretty good. And that's usually a good sign when you have that relationship, certainly with one of your guards. And really, Cheese and Tribble, who also handle the ball in a primary fashion for us. I feel really good about those guys as well when they're handling it. So we're very blessed in that we have really 3 primary playmakers with the ball that can really handle it and make decisions for us.
Lauren Christian Jackson was very good last year, Coach, but he's taken it up a notch. He's much better this year, isn't he?
Well, it's another year in the system. He's been with me now 2 years. He's much more efficient right now. But attitude-wise, effort-wise, that's always been there with him. And I think he's really grown a lot and as a person. And then, obviously we highlighted in the last show, he's earned his degree as well.
That's
so
right.
He's had a lot of good things happen here, recently. And hopefully that trend, continues to keep right on going because he's one of those guys. He certainly deserves it.
Our player on the rise is a young man out of Cincinnati, Ohio, Winton Woods High School, also Huntington Prep. Continues to get better every game. In 14 minutes against Eastern Michigan on Saturday, he was 2 for 3 from the field, had an assist and a steal. Very athletic, Coach, and getting better every game.
Getting better every game. I love the fact that he and Ali and Mike D, those guys, obviously are freshmen. They're a big part of our future and our team now. So they're getting the opportunity to learn. They're continuing to get better every day. And you're exactly right. I think Greg had his best week of the season this past week. 4 assists, 0 turns against UMass, went 4 for 6 from the line. Really defended well and helped us win that game in a tight game. And then against Eastern, 1 assist. I thought he really played great defensively, took care of the ball. He handled it well. He understands our schemes, extraordinarily well for a freshman. He picks things up quick, and he's really getting better. So we're excited about Greg. He's a big part of what we do.
You saw him play at Huntington Prep, Coach. What did you like about him? Why'd you bring him to Akron?
His toughness. He's really tough, physically tough. He's coachable. He's a guy that really competes defensively. And he's another level athlete, as you've seen, Joe, when he goes up to get rebounds and finish in and around the rim with either hand, and loves ball, loves to work at ball. Just, our type of guy.
We're going to take a break. When we come back, as we've said a few times, Western Michigan comes to town Tuesday night, 7 o'clock, Ball State, 9 o'clock on Friday. We're going to talk a little bit about those games right after this, so don't go away.
The difference with Wentz Financial Group is that we do not have a cookie cutter answer to any of our clients' needs. Every day is completely different in the market, and every client situation is unique. We value the opportunity and responsibility to manage the hopes and dreams of our 3,000 customers nationwide.
Come see the difference Wentz Financial Group can make for your financial future. Wentz Financial Group. Investment management for your lifetime.
The University of Akron is more than a college or campus.
It's a connection to the community.
To the thousands of opportunities right here in Northeast Ohio.
And to the partnerships with employers and organizations.
Like the LeBron James Family Foundation, where we connect kids to life-changing possibilities.
It's the strength of UA, this city, and these connections.
It's where students make an impact on their community and in the world.
While still making an impact
In the classroom.
On the track.
In the boardroom.
and in my community.
That's what makes us the University of Akron.
Well, if you're a Zip fan, we hope you're making plans to be at Rhodes Arena Tuesday night. Western Michigan comes to town at 7 o'clock. And Coach, the dean of coaches, I think, Steve Hawkins, 17 years up at Kalamazoo.
Yeah, obviously I've had a chance to coach against him now in 2 different stints in the league, and does a great job. I mean, he really does. His teams are physical. They play hard. They work at it defensively. Mm-hmm. He's really got some young bigs that I really like watching them on film that I think are, really getting better quickly. Obviously had their first win just like we did yesterday. They beat Ohio at home, so they're 1-0 in Mid-American Conference play. They're a deep team. And Flowers and Johnson, I mean, they're right up there in the upper echelon of the players in our league. They'll both be a handful on Tuesday night, and we're going to have to play well. Every game's different. You've got to be able to get to the next game and understand that what you did the game before has nothing to do with the next game, and that takes a certain degree of mental toughness, maturity, and experience. Our team has shown that thus far, and we've got to make sure we have that going into Tuesday night.
As you mentioned, the Broncos knocked off Ohio University on Saturday, 77-65, so they come in 1-0 in the conference, feeling good about themselves. Brandon Johnson, as coach said, had 18 points against Ohio on Saturday. Michael Flowers, 15. Took a look at him, coach. Last season, he had some huge games against Michigan and Cincinnati, so he can score.
He really can, and the reason he's able to do it, and he does it efficiently, Joe, is he's a 3-level scorer. He can score long range, mid range, and at the rim, and then because he drives it and gets in the paint quite often, he draws a lot of fouls, and so he has some production from the free throw line as well, and just really a gifted scorer. So we've got to make sure, obviously, we're ready to go and understand, that those two guys are, they're terrific players, and their other players are really emerging and playing well. And our league's good, Joe. I mean, we were one of 4 leagues out of 32 where every team had a winning record heading into league play. Yeah. One of 4. So you gotta bring it every night in our league and make sure that you're ready to go and treat it one game at a time.
The Broncos lost some talent from last year, but Coach Steve Hawkins says he likes this team better than last year. Seen more balance, he says.
Well, I could see that, because his young guys are really emerging, especially his interior players. And then, like I said, Johnson and Flowers are terrific. Their point guard's a freshman. I really like him a lot. I think he has a chance to be really good. He reminds me in some ways of the way that Christian plays. So, we'll have our hands full on Tuesday night. I'm excited about the challenge and, leading these guys into round 2.
I know you don't like to look too far ahead, Coach, but we do have another home game next Friday, 9 o'clock against Ball State. They knocked off Toledo this past Friday. A lot of people watched that game on TV, 61-57. That's a nice win for Ball State.
Yeah, really just kind of 3 things I know at this point. One, it's a national TV game at 9 o'clock.
That's
at
right.
home, and we need our fans there. Like they came out for UMass to make a difference for us. Number 2, they're number 1 in the league on defense.
Yes.
So they really, really guard. And then obviously 3rd, Taji Teague's a terrific player. He's been in the league for a long time, a lot like Johnson and Flowers. He's in that upper echelon of talented players in our league. He's a handful. And, they've had some really, really good wins. And, one at Georgia Tech, which is not easy. And they'll be a real challenge. Won the other night in their first Mid-American Conference game against Toledo on Friday night. So they're seasoned, and we'll have to be ready to go in that one as well when it comes.
Coach, I know you're a basketball historian, especially the state of Indiana. They've got a kid from Newcastle. That is a great high school program in Indiana. That's where Steve Alford played. They got a kid at Ball State, Luke Bumbleball.
Yeah, Bumblelow, yeah. That's my mom and dad's hometown
as well. Is it really?
Yeah, they're both from Newcastle. So, I actually went to see Steve Alford play when he was a high school player, when he was a teenager. So, my mom and dad both went to school there. Dad played baseball there. And so I'm very, very familiar. And he's a tough kid, smart, really knows how to play, and made some big free throws to end the game on Friday night when I was watching them play Toledo, and really stepped up and made some plays for him.
Congratulations, Coach, on the big win over Eastern Michigan. We'll go after Western Michigan on Tuesday, Ball State on Friday. For Coach John Groce, I'm Joe Dunn. And always remember, go Zips.
Wentz Financial Group presents Zips Basketball Weekly with John Groce, investment management for your lifetime. Hosted by Joe Dunn. Contributing sponsors include Summa Health. It's your health. Let's own it together. Hilton Akron Fairlawn, the preferred hotel of Zips Athletics. And the Spaghetti Warehouse, famous for its 15-layer lasagna.
This copyrighted broadcast is an exclusive presentation of Learfield IMG College. Reuse of this presentation is prohibited without the expressed written consent of Learfield IMG College.